Hello and welcome back to our weekly eShop Switch Games Sales Roundup, where we help you cut through the noise and find the best bargains across the UK, EU and US eShops. Let us know your pick of the week in the comments, as each week we give away a $10 eShop voucher to one person who shared their pick. Later on we will announce last week's winner, but for now let's jump in and take a look at these deals. Kicking things off with my pick of the week, it's the ESCAPISTS 2. This sandbox from Moldy 2 Studios was picked up and published by Team 17, and it's a blast. Escape by any means necessary is your primary objective. After a hilarious intro where your character is sipping pina coladas on a beach having escaped from prison, you are dragged back and the game kicks off. Having tasted freedom, you want it again. Each of the 10 prisons is its own sandbox, complete with dynamic inhabitants that will get into trouble with or without you, as they often fight each other, earning a beating from the guards, and will even attempt to escape or get caught with contraband. You get to feel as though you are Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption, or perhaps Fletch from Porridge is more fitting. The premise of the game is excellent, and the open world nature leaves your mind puzzling over the best location to escape and how to achieve it. Should you try and dig out, dress up as a guard and try and walk out, your mind can work up wonderful plans and the game will let you work towards them. This is the beauty of the game, and with additional content added, there is now multiplayer and more prisons past the original 10 to enjoy. As still for this price. Juan, Jordan, what are your picks this week?
Thank you so much, James. There's only one game that I wanted this week, and that's Ghostbusters on the Nintendo Switch. Well, I reviewed this one recently for the channel. In fact, check out my full review by hitting the link in the top right hand corner. Here we have a very authentic experience. If you love the movies, and this has the voices and in-game likenesses of Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis and Ernie Hudson. In an original story, none of that would matter though if the gameplay sucked, and thankfully it does not disappoint. Catching ghosts and never been so fun, with upgradable weapons and destructible environments. I loved it, and I'm sure you will too. A great purchase at its current price of $17.99 both in the UK and in the US, with 40% off also in Europe. So a movie tie-in done well. How often can you say that? Well, that's my pick of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your video with your host James. Take care, see you next time.
What's up guys, Jordan here with my pick of the week. Now, Gorogoa may sound like the name of a venereal disease, but don't be fooled, because actually it's a critically acclaimed puzzle game from developers VIII. It's beautiful, imaginative, and is often cited as a work of art. It was originally $15, which was always a bit of a stretch for many due to the 2-hour runtime, but now with 50% off at $7.49 in the US and Europe, and £5.99 in the UK, that is very good value for your money. And if you are on the fence originally, then now is the time to strike. You have until the 27th to pick it up at this price. That is my recommendation for this week.
Great picks there, guys. Next up, it's Earthworms. Earthworms is a point-and-click adventure game with elements of horror. You play as a detective trying to get to the bottom of the mysterious giant worms that have suddenly appeared all over the place. The hand-drawn visuals are nice, and with 3 different endings, there's some amount of replayability. It's not the best in the genre, but it's worth a play, especially with such outrageous discounts on offer. When a game goes on sale for 10 cents, you need to take a look. Void Space Racer isn't half bad either. There's no fluff, no story to contend with. This is all about the gameplay. Instead of a usual track, the gimmick here is that you race spaceships through a series of checkpoints, rings that you go through in the void of space. The game looks nice and the soundtrack is decent. Performance is also spot on, which adds up to a decent buy for so cheap. It isn't the best racer out there, but it's definitely worth a little play. This is an action RPG that is truly an adventure and one of Jordan's favourites to boot. You are shipwrecked on a mysterious island and all the other passengers are spread around. You explore around searching for heroes to bring together to your home base, which gradually builds up, all the while trying to plan your escape. But there is a very mysterious link with the eponymous Dana as you switch between them. It's a fascinating story that is always developing. The action combat is excellent and it's just so fresh compared to many overly serious JRPGs of today. On the move, this is a great way to play the game, but it doesn't look great when playing in docked mode. Four Horses brought us Kid Trip and followed it up with Miles and Kilo, a retro-inspired 8-bit platformer with simple 2-button mechanics. It looks fantastic in the old retro sense, sounds great and has some nice and effective controls. The game is best enjoyed in auto-run mode, but you have the option to turn it off for an easier experience, which is a welcome addition. There are 36 levels to enjoy, but they are short and this doesn't outstay its welcome. 80% off makes this a true bargain. A twin-stick shooter bringing with cheesy 80s references? Sign me up. The premise is ridiculous. Aliens have turned veg into apocalyptic doombringers that attack humans. This has B-movie written all over it, and it's awesome. The neon colours and music are on point, and whilst it isn't quite up there with the very best twin-stick shooters on the platform, it is good, and at the moment it has a whopping 85% off. Mars Power Industries is a simple pick-up-and-play puzzle game. There are 80 odd levels and each one is nice and short. The premise is that Mars has been terraformed and as buildings pop up they need to get powered up. This is where you come in. Taking place on a simple grid, you need to place and connect grids in order to power up buildings. Along the way there are obstacles and some tricky spikes to make things that bit tougher. But overall this is a chilled, laid back, easy to play and good looking game, all for under £1. 99 Vidas is a crowd-funded game project based on a classic gaming podcast in Brazil. It's very random and I have no idea who they are, so any references or jokes are lost on me and will be on most people. So what we are left with is an old school beat 'em up in the vein of Streets of Rage or Double Dragon. The story is simple enough, clocking in at around 3 hours. It's repetitive, so you are unlikely to want to give it a go twice, but like all games in this genre, adding in a friend or two increases the fun. It looks very nice visually and the controls and performance are solid, making this a nice choice for an evening with a buddy at such a low price. Butcher for just £2.69 in the UK or £2.99 in the US or in the EU is a total bargain with 70% off. This is the 2D Doom. It's violent, it's tough, but it's a bloody and gory good time. You're a cyborg and your task is to destroy humanity and decimate anything that moves. With an assortment of weapons to choose from shotguns to our personal favourite, the chainsaw, there is all sorts of ways to cake out your enemy and keep the bodies piling up. Cinders is the tale of Cinderella told as a visual novel, but it's more Brothers Grimm than Disney, a darker, moodier telling of the classic story. It's written very well and looks gorgeous. Fans of the genre, this could be one for you. One that caught me off guard was Pinball Effects 3. The game is free with a couple of tables which are fun enough, plus there are a large number of additional tables which you can purchase. I reviewed this one and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's refreshing to play and fits perfectly on the Switch. The mechanics are true to source and online leaderboards bring out your competitive nature for sure. In this pack you add 4 exciting new tables. Pasha, where you get to explore a fantastical world of ancient Persian legends where adventure awaits beyond every sand dune. Rome, where you get to defend the empire, protect the land from peril and lead your legions to victory. Biolab, which is a biohazardous place where you get to save creatures and unravel the missing cookie mystery. And Secrets of the Deep, where beneath the waves lie a world full of exotic creatures and rare artifacts. Go ahead and download the game for free, and if you enjoy it then you can always pick up this pack with 70% off. The Trine series of games are wonderful puzzle platformers with RPG elements thrown in. Each is a blast in which you control 3 characters, a wizard, a warrior and a thief. Together they make the Trine, and it's in using all 3 characters' skills that you will achieve your objectives. The game looks gorgeous on the Switch and the controls work really well here. These are interesting and fun games alone, but if you get friends together in co-op, each is an exceptional experience. As always, with Nintendo, the discounts are never vast, but Super Mario Maker 2 with 33% off is a decent deal. If you ever played the original, then the formula will be familiar to you. The premise is of building and playing your own awesome levels, but this time the tools are better. You could play other stages online as well, and there's a surprisingly good campaign on offer. There are very few games, if any, that let you express your creativity so well whilst being accessible and still being fun to play. Combining 2 iconic puzzle franchises, Puyo Puyo Tetris is a comprehensive, solid puzzle title that is a joy to play. The main issue with it for me is the high cost. So now with 70% off, it is the right time to buy if you want a solid puzzle title that is particularly good on the move. Having gone on sale in the US, this one is now available with a chunky discount in the UK and EU. It's not often that a rhythm-based game comes up with something new, but that's exactly what CRYPT the NECRODANCER has done to fantastic effect. It turns out that combining beats and dungeon crawling results in a brilliant and exciting game. The tunes are spot on and the gameplay is no slouch. The developers followed this up with Cadence of Hyrule, essentially the same gameplay with characters from Zelda. Although that is a blast to play, having the original for just £3.59 makes this a real bargain. Cat Quest is a boiled down and simple RPG. Is it perfect? Sorry about that. No, but it's interesting, simple and looks great. This is a vanilla experience, a casual game without the bogging down that you get with many RPGs. If you are after a chilled RPG, you can't go far wrong with this one, and the sequel is just as good as well. Dark Souls is so iconic that it has created its own category. Often when we talk about tough games now, it's easy to refer to Dark Souls, and for good reason. This epic RPG adventure is punishing, and its port to the Switch is solid. If you've never played this classic, then do yourself a favour and pick it up. If you have played it, then it's great on the move, and given the vast content on offer, you might want to jump back in. Little Nightmares is a great little horror game from Bandai Namco that is a perfect fit for the Nintendo Switch. If you want an incredibly eerie atmosphere with some truly grotesque imagery, look no further. It was a tad expensive at its original asking price, but with 60% off, it's something you can't say no to. It's been this low before and probably will be again in the future, but you still shouldn't miss out on this bargain to prepare yourself for the sequel coming later on this year. NIS have brought us the Fantastic Desire series, and that series this is not. There are similarities in its quirky humour and adult content packaged in a cartoon look, but this series is a first-person JRPG dungeon crawler. It's different and interesting, but it's a Marmite game that won't be for everyone. At 50% off, it's worth picking up, but I would recommend looking it up before diving in to see if it's your cup of tea. INVISIGUN is a versus title with a unique take on the classic Bomberman formula. Like Bomberman, you play against opponents on a grid, and your objective is to take them out and be the last man standing, or to rack up the most kills depending on the mode you're playing. What is different is that you are all invisible. You only ever reveal yourself when you activate your unique skill or shoot your weapon. It makes it harder than most multiplayer games to pick up and play, but you soon get the hang of it, and when you do, you are in for a real treat. Your clues are subtle. You will hear and see water splashing or leaves being ruffled. It's surprisingly great, and the stealth element really adds to the fast-paced, frantic gameplay. This is a top-notch game that is perfect if you have a few friends round. And there you have a bunch of bargains worth picking up. Let us know your pick this week down below, and next Sunday we will give away a $10 eShop voucher. Speaking of which, last week's winner is William Heap. Congratulations, William. Please email us and we will get you that voucher. You can read a lovely write-up of this list over at switchwatch.co.uk, as well as finding some awesome articles. That's it for me today, but if you enjoyed this, please tune back in next Sunday for more bargains. Jordan's fabulous physical release roundup will be out tomorrow, and I cannot wait for that. Plus, did you see Juan's review of the Theme Hospital spiritual successor, 2 Point Hospital? That looks awesome. You can check out the review at the top right hand side. If you enjoy our content, well, thank you for watching, and please do consider subscribing. See you soon. Take care, everyone.